Corey's been there the last 2 times I was there.
All right, good evening. We'll call this meeting to order for the October 12th, 2023 Apple Valley City Council meeting. Welcome, everyone, and as your item is announced this evening, or as your item comes up, please come forward to speak. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would ask everyone to rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the second item tonight is to approve the agenda. And Tom, any changes this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. No changes to tonight's agenda.
No changes, great. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. A motion from Councilmember Grendel, a second from Councilmember Goodwin. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries. The next item is our audience participation portion of the meeting. We have a total of 10 minutes for this item, and this is for items not on the agenda. I know we have Randy Bailey who would like to speak. Randy, you want to come forward? You don't have to run. You don't have to run.
10 minutes, man. I'm trying.
You don't get all 10 minutes either, but you don't have to run. So,
You can walk.
Greetings, Mayor, City Council members, esteemed city servants. I'm Randy Bailey, 32 years in this fine city. And it is a fine city. We've got a variety of amenities here that make us stand out among our neighbors and among the broader region, too. We've got parks, trails, pools that many cities can only claim to rival. Unfortunately, some of those things are getting old right now. We're living in a city where our city fathers that came before you fine folks and our citizens that came before we fine folks have chosen to invest in this city to the point where we have 51 parks, 19 miles of trails, 2 pools, and any number of nice, wonderful, classy amenities. Well, the time has come to put good money after good. And that's up to the citizens coming up on the November 7th Parks referendum, which you fine folks have seen the wisdom to put before the public. I stand in favor of that for a variety of reasons. If you own a car, it only takes one catastrophic failure for you to realize you should have been investing a little bit along the way, all the way, to prevent that catastrophic failure. If you own a home or property, chances are, somewhere along the line, you have either suffered a catastrophic failure that could have been prevented by some investment along the way to prevent that, and you learned your lesson. To have amenities like we have in this fine city, it requires investment. Nowadays, that means a vote of the citizens. That's the Parks referendum coming up on November 7th. I stand fully in favor of that because I want to live in a city that's looking forward and doing this, not a city that disinvests and is doing this. I want to live in that kind of a city, so I stand in favor of that. There are a few of us that are part of a small group, very small group, called Yes for AV Parks. We're trying to get the word out and educate people. Yes, we have a lean. We want people to vote yes, but even more than that. We believe that if people get educated about this Parks referendum, the more information they have, the more honest, straightforward, clear, direct information they have, the more likely they will be to vote yes for this Parks referendum. And I'm here to stand up in favor of that, and all the folks out there watching us in TV land, educate yourselves. Cast a fully informed vote. That's the number one responsibility you have as a citizen in this system of government. You got a lot of rights, but your most base, simple responsibility is to cast an educated, well-informed vote, and we have an opportunity on November 7th. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Thanks, Randy.
Thank you. And we agree with you.
All right, Randy was our only one who had signed up for this portion of the meeting. I know we've got a couple folks here to speak about the next item on the agenda. I'd also like to welcome, we have a couple of students in the back as part of a school project. Thanks for coming out, guys. If you have questions after the meeting, feel free to come up after we adjourn and ask any questions you got. We'd be happy to chat a little longer afterwards. So with that, we will move on to, where are we? We're at the consent agenda. That's where we are. See, Randy, you threw me off. Next item is to approve the consent agenda. These are items that are routine and will be enacted with a single motion unless a council member or a citizen requests to pull an item. Council members, are there any items from consent that you would like to pull? And seeing none, citizens, are there any items? All right, so seeing none there either, do we have a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Goodwin and a second from Councilmember Grendel. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed, consent items carry. Our next item, we're onto our regular agenda, and that's 5A, and that is to proclaim October 24th, 2023 as World Polio Day. And Lindy, would you like to come up? I think Tom's gonna pop a few slides up for us over here as we go. On there on the screen already.
Now, who are these young ladies?
Go ahead and introduce yourselves if you don't mind for the record, and jump right in.
Lindy Anglican, Apple Valley Rotary.
Tasha Wells, Apple Valley Rotary.
Both
Thank you,
also
Mayor
Apple
and
Valley residents.
Yeah.
Very much so, yes.
Very much so. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members, for having us this evening. As we want to proclaim the City of Apple Valley for World Polio Day for October 24th, 2023. Just a quick note before the proclamation. I would like to invite council members, mayor, neighbors, friends, and family to our chili feed for Polio Plus and silent auction coming up on Sunday, October 22nd from 2 to 5, and it's hosted at Cowboy Jack's in Apple Valley. Please come if you're available. On with the City of Apple Valley proclamation. Whereas Rotary International, including the Apple Valley Rotary Club, is dedicated to Polio Plus, an initiative dedicated to ridding the world of the paralyzing disease known as polio. And whereas across the globe, October 24th is annually recognized as World Polio Day. And whereas this global polio eradication initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has already vaccinated nearly 3 billion children of the world against polio. And whereas Rotary brings 118 years of history to this initiative. Its members are business, professional, and community leaders who provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and help build goodwill and peace in the world. 32,000 Rotary clubs located in more than 200 countries and geographical areas build coalitions and initiative service projects to address today's challenges, including illiteracy, disease, hunger, poverty, lack of clean water, and environmental concerns. And whereas Rotary members have contributed more than $2.2 billion and countless volunteer hours to protect children in 122 countries from polio. And whereas, according to the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas the risk of polio's resurgence remains a global public health concern that must be continuously addressed until the disease is permanently eradicated. And whereas the Apple Valley Rotary Club has annually raised funds to support this polio eradication effort through the variety of community events, and whereas the Apple Valley Rotary Club invites community members to this year's Polio Plus Chili Feed and Silent Auction being held at Cowboy Jack's Restaurant on October 22nd, 2023. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Apple Valley, Dakota County, Minnesota, hereby proclaims October 24th, 2023 as World Polio Day in Apple Valley and encourages the community to support the Rotary effort to eradicate polio. Proclaim this 12th day of October, 2023.
Thank you, Lindy. Nice job. Council, do we have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Grandal, a second from
I have a question.
Councilmember Bergman, and you have a question.
Now, as I understand it, ladies, as a member of Rotary, right now, polio is going nuts in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Are there any other countries where it's a real problem right now?
Those are the two countries where we're concentrating efforts for eradication. But the plus in Polio Plus really is providing that continuing education and providing resources to countries around the world to prevent polio from resurging. So Afghanistan and, yeah, those are the two.
It was a real problem in Pakistan because as the people go out to give polio shots, the anti-vaxxers in Pakistan are shooting them. Are you aware of that?
Yep.
No, it's terrible. Anyway,
All right, we have a
Thank you.
motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? That carries. Thank you. We have an official copy of that proclamation here if you'd like to come grab it. I know on the screen there was a note about where you could get tickets. If they go to the Rotary Club website at applevalley.rotary.org, they can also get tickets there as well.
What time is it?
From 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
Great. Thank you both.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank
you, Council.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, we have 5B, which is the 2023 Special Assessment Roll, and Joe, is it Rotz? So they do
Rotz.
Rotz, thank you. You're going to take this one, so welcome,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. As you're aware, the city of Apple Valley certifies delinquent utility accounts twice per year, spring and fall. The process for the fall certification started with mailing out letters on July 25th. There were 710 letters mailed out, which is less or more than last spring with 563 letters that were mailed out. They were due by August 25th, and then they were notified if they were not paid by August 25th, their account will be certified for collection along with a certification fee. After the August 25th deadline, a certification list was created on September 5th and presented to the council on September 14th. Following the meeting on September 14th, a public hearing was set for October 12th, which is tonight. Additional letter was sent out on September 25th, notifying the account holders of the public hearing date and payment deadlines. Following the public hearing this evening, if the council adopts the assessment roll, the account holders will have an additional 30 days to make the full payment before any unpaid amounts are certified to the county after November 13th. Amounts certified to the property taxes will be payable with next year's property taxes. Final list reflecting any payments will be presented to the county auditor's office prior to November 30th, scheduled for November 17th this year, as required by the Minnesota state statutes. The original certification list at the September 14th meeting started with a balance of $151,034.26, representing 407 accounts. As of 10/2, 64 accounts had paid a total of $27,406, which left a total balance of $123,628.26, representing 343 accounts. As of 10/11 yesterday, a total of $34,929.37 has been paid from 89 accounts, which leaves 318 accounts unpaid, and a total balance of $116,104.89. The city anticipates another 25 to 50 accounts will prepay prior to certification with the county next month. No written objections have been received. The affidavits of publication have been received and are on file. The city council is asked to conduct the public hearing for a special assessment roll number 689 and consider the adoption of the resolution certifying the collection of delinquent utility charges in the amount of $151,000. $151,134.26, which is the amount of the original roll less any prepayments that have been and may be received.
Great, thank you, Joe. Council, any questions? All right, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to special assessment roll number 689? Anyone who would like to speak? One final opportunity. We will close the public hearing. We'll move on and look for a motion to adopt a resolution levying the 2023 special assessment roll number 689.
So moved. Second.
Motion from Councilmember Bergman, a second from Councilmember Grendel. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that item carries. And Joe, you're not done yet because you also have 5C, so why don't you jump right into that one?
All right, hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the council again. This roll followed the same process as roll number 689. A property owner had a hazardous tree removed from his property on January 12th, 2023, with a total cost of $4,338.56. The homeowner received an outline of the assessment process and was notified via letter of the steps in the process, which is like the 689 roll. After being notified of the process, the homeowner requested to pay the amount based on the terms provided in the agenda packet. means they must be assessed. Following the public hearing this evening, and if the council adopts the assessment roll, the property owner will have an additional 30 days to make the full payment before any unpaid amounts are certified to the county following November 13th. Amount certified to property taxes will be payable with the following year property taxes. Final list reflecting any prepayments will be presented to the county auditor's office prior to November 30th. Scheduled for November 17th, the same as the last one. And then so far no written objections have been received. The affidavit of publication has been received and is on file for this one. The city council is asked to conduct the public hearing for the delinquent hazardous tree removal charges for roll number 690. Consider the adoption of the resolution certified in the delinquent hazardous tree removal charges in the amount of $4,338.56, which is the amount of the original roll less any prepayments that have been received.
All right, any questions for Joe? We'll go ahead and open the public hearing on roll number 690. Anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak? One last opportunity. We will close the public hearing and we'll look for a motion to adopt the resolution levying the special assessment roll number
So moved.
690. Second. Motion from Councilmember Goodwin, a second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that item carries. Before we move on, this is the program we put in place to help homeowners who might not be able to cover the cost of tree removal. Right, and I know the language is technically delinquent, however, this homeowner is abiding by the terms of the agreement. He's not necessarily delinquent on anything, and so just maybe going forward, we look at wording or something on there so we don't leave the impression that somebody who is abiding by the terms we laid out is delinquent. So, but other than that, no issues.
Good point.
And good program, right, because tree removal is expensive. So, thank you.
Certainly is.
Next item on the agenda is 5D, which is the Apple Valley Police Operations Building, and Kathy will take us through this one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, good evening, and city council members. As the mayor stated, this is a request for land use actions related to the police operations building at the site located at 14325 Flagstaff Avenue. And if I turn my thing on here, let's see here. Come on. Oh, that's not working.
All these years we blame Bruce, and it turns out it probably wasn't Bruce. So,
We got a replacement over there. He got no control, he says.
In early 2023, the city council approved the central maintenance facility upgrade project. And one important element of that project is removing a cold storage building to make room for an 18,000 square foot fleet maintenance building. The challenge is that cold storage building is the police fleet parking garage today. So it was important to, and necessary to find a new location for the police maintenance facility, the police fleet storage facility. And it just so happens that conversations were had with the property owner immediately south of the CMF property. There was some mutual agreement, and now the city is moving forward with purchasing the property immediately south of CMF to provide the police maintenance facility at 14325 Flagstaff Avenue. Are you advancing or am I?
I am.
Okay, so then I'm gonna, please advance. Okay. So this evening, 3 actions are requested for review. 1, accepting the Planning Commission Resolution 2023-01, a variance to reduce the West Drive lane setback, and then 3rd, site plan review building permit authorization. Next slide. The property is zoned I-1, limited industrial.
Next.
Okay. No, go back, please. Limited industrial, the fleet storage and the office are permitted uses in that zoning district. The 4.8 acre site is located immediately adjacent to Cedar Isle Estates to the west and Eastview High School to the east. Next slide, please. The existing building is a storage facility. It will be removed. The associated parking and paving will also be removed in connection with this project. Next slide. The existing conditions plan shows the existing conditions from a plan view, and one of the challenging pieces of the site is the fact that there's a 75-foot wide pipeline easement that's running north and south through the middle of the site, indicated by the orange. Next slide, please. The site plan shows the location of the 25,000 square foot facility, the police operations building. One access point will be taken to the site from Flagstaff Avenue. The existing access will be closed. The access point will be the single point where emergency vehicles will enter or exit the site. Also to the west is a service drive, and that driveway connects to the central maintenance facility site to the north, provides access to fuel and maintenance and other services up at CMF. No emergency responses will be conducted through that west drive access, so that'll help to protect the neighborhood to the west. Next slide, please. Grading, drainage, and erosion control plan. Next slide. And the utility plans are being designed and supervised by the city engineer and public works director. You'll notice there's kind of a green swath in the middle of the site. That will be an area that will be left undisturbed. So to help provide kind of a natural barrier and screening between the new facility and the neighborhood to the west. Next slide, please. In terms of landscaping for a limited industrial zoning district, the value of landscape plantings must meet 1.5% of the value of construction of the building, either meet or exceed. A variety of plantings are shown, trees, shrubs, a planting bed on the south side of the building, and an infiltration area south of the parking lot, which will have plantings as a part of that. Next slide. The architect team created a series of color renderings to help visualize the exterior of the building. So this will be kind of a ground level view and then a bird's eye view, kind of, if you can imagine, a kind of a clockwise. So we're starting at the southeast corner of the site, looking northwest from Flagstaff. Next slide, please. This is the southwest corner of the site looking northeast, so kind of continuing around. The entrance to the building then will be on that west side. Next slide. Excuse me. This is continuing around. Now this is the northwest corner of the building. The main entrance drive into the garage. The car should be facing the other direction to enter.
You're backing in.
Yes. Next slide, please. And then this is just kind of an elevated view of that west elevation. This is the northeast corner of the site, again from Flagstaff. This is the south corner, south and west, kind of showing that planting area that I described. Next. This is an elevated view then from the the southeast corner. Again, kind of going around the site. This is outside the southwest corner. And this is northeast. So from Flagstaff again, kind of looking onto the facility. So the floor plan shows the layout of the building. The primary purpose of the building will be fleet storage, so 15,000 square feet is devoted to that. 30 spaces are provided for police vehicles. In addition, 10,000 square feet of office support areas also provided. So that includes locker rooms, showers, meeting rooms, training rooms, so on and so forth. So that's an important part of the facility. Now, this facility will not replace the main police offices, headquarters. They will remain here at the municipal center. This operations building will supplement the main police headquarters here. Next slide, please. So that's kind of a review of the slides, and now we'll step into the actions. Minnesota State Statute, Section 462, 356, Subdivision 2, requires the city to have the Planning Commission review the purchase of real property and capital improvements to ensure that they are consistent with the city's 2040 comprehensive plan. Next slide, please. So the Planning Commission, at its meeting of September 20th, reviewed the plans and looked at it through the eyes of Chapter 2 of the 2040 Comprehensive Plan and found that the new facility, the acquisition of the property and the improvements to the property will meet a number of the city's keys, which are goals or guiding principles for the city out to 2040. The facility will help provide service, a great place to live, enhance safety, ensure healthy and active activities, sustainable and accessible. Next slide, please. So that's the first action, is that resolution the Planning Commission provided. The second thing then is the variance requesting a reduction for the setback from 20 feet would normally be required down to 5 feet. Next slide, please. The Planning Commission reviewed the definition of practical difficulties, and after looking at the factors that establish whether a practical difficulty has been established, the Planning Commission made 5 findings related to the project. First, the subject lot is significantly encumbered by that 75-foot wide pipeline easement. Second, the drive lane is designed to align with the existing central maintenance facility drive. And that did receive a variance in January. So it kind of keeps going with that drive lane. Matching the location of the drive lane with the CMF drive lane provides more efficient snow plowing, safer connection, and easier access to the CMF site, not having to navigate around curves or anything unexpected. Municipal well and communication lines prevent locating the private drive lane further east. And then keeping the drive lane to the west reduces disturbance to that natural area that's being maintained. Next slide. So to wrap up, Mr. Mayor, at its meeting of September 20th, 2023, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the project with the 3 actions shown on the slide. Next slide, please. And the following 3 actions will approve the project in accordance with the Planning Commission's recommendation. And I'd be happy to stand for questions if there are any.
Thank you, Kathy. Other questions? Councilmember Goodwin.
I hate to do this to you, but I noticed on the first slide, the overhead of the site.
Yep.
Could you go back to that? No, I'm sorry,
The rendering.
the rendering. No. The building that's there now, the building that's there now.
Oh,
That was this one?
that's
That one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I had something wrong on it, and I apologize for that.
no problem. The assistant police chief is here, and the architect is available if there are any other specific questions you have related to the project.
Any questions about the project?
No.
Let the record show Councilmember Goodwin said it was the first time he was wrong.
In my life.
All right.
First time in my life, Ruth. Can you believe that?
All
Here
right,
I am. It's going on 80 and I've never been wrong before.
We have three actions here in front of us.
Second.
So let's take them one at a time just for clarity here. We have a motion from Councilmember Grandal, a second from Councilmember Bergman to accept the Planning Commission Resolution number 2023-01. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That item carries. Our second item is to adopt the resolution approving a variance to reduce the drive aisle setback. We have a motion from Councilmember Grandal. Do we have a second?
Second.
From Councilmember Goodwin. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? That item carries. And our third is to adopt the resolution approving the site plan and building permit.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Bergman and a second from Councilmember Grandal. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right. All is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Thanks.
Next item on our agenda is staff and council communications. And Tom, do we have anything for staff communications?
Mr. Mayor, just one, a fun one tonight. We'll have our police chief, Nick Francis, come up and give us a little update on trunk or treat.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I stand before you in likely the first or maybe the second most popular Halloween costume these days is a police officer or firefighter. I'm not sure which one sells more. But we are inviting folks out to our third annual Trunk or Treat event. It is going to be Saturday, October 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Apple Valley Aquatic Center parking lot. And so Trunk or Treat is, instead of going from door to door to door to houses, we line up squad cars, fire engines, all sorts of other emergency vehicles, and community outreach opportunities for folks to learn. I think we have the DNR there this year. They're usually there. But basically, the kids and families go from trunk to trunk and get candy and learn from public safety officials and other city officials and others involved in community outreach. So we invite the public. Last year I went, you may not have noticed, but if you saw Neil Diamond there, that was me, undercover, a Neil Diamond costume, but it was amazing. There was, if it's a nice day, there's literally 1,000 people out there in that short couple of hours. So we invite the public to come down and continue the good tradition of getting to know us and having a good time to celebrate Halloween.
Thank you, and Nick, thanks to Pam for all of her work and putting that together as well.
Yep, thanks.
All right, any other items? Council? The next item is our calendar of upcoming events. Our next regular city council meeting is Thursday, October 26th at 7 p.m. As I'm looking at the calendar here, Councilmember Bergman pointed out that we don't have trunk or treat on there. Should we add that to our official calendar?
Sure.
All right, so we would look for a motion to approve the calendar with the addition of adding trunk or treat on Saturday, the 28th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Grandal, a second from Councilmember Goodwin. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that item carries. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of adjourning? Aye.
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 Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you, Chad.